Hello guys, welcome back to the series of tutorials on C++, and in this tutorial we are going to discuss about arrays in C++. So arrays are basically data structures and they are consisting of related data items of the same type. We can also say that it is an consecutive group of memory locations that all have the same type. So if you talk about the memory, you can denote an array like this, and depending on the type, its addresses will be defined. Let us suppose it's an character array. So each element is of 1 byte, and suppose you are starting with an address of 100. So its address should be 101, it should be 102, 103, 104, and so on. So this means that it is an consecutive group of memory locations, right? Or you can say that it is an contiguous group of memory locations. So if you want to declare an array, you have to do it like this. You have to write its type. So if you want to declare an integer array, you have to write integer like this. Then array name. In our case, I want to write array, and then you have to provide size here inside these square brackets. So if you want to declare an array of 10 size, you have to write it like this. Clear? In this case, this size is always constant and you can't change it in between. Clear? And this constant should be greater than 0. So when you have declared array like this, compiler will allocate size of 10 integers in a contiguous fashion. You can also initialize the array, and for that you can do multiple things. So what are those things? Suppose you want to initialize all the elements with 0, so you can do it inside a loop like this: int I equal to 0, then I should be less than 10, and I plus plus. And when you access an array, you use this square bracket and use some index here, which is called index or subscript, right? So using this index or subscript, you assign or access the element of array. Here we want to assign 0 to all the elements, so put 0 at the end and then semicolon. Clear? So this is the way you can assign or access some array elements. You can also initialize the array in its declaration, and for that you have to use the initializer list. Let us suppose I have an array with name n and having 10 size. So you can provide elements like this: 1, 2, 3, and so on up to 10. So in this way you will have an array of 10 size having these 10 elements. Clear? You can also create an array with 10 size and having all the elements 0. So for that you have to just put these parentheses here, and in this case all the elements will be 0. There are few other things also you have to keep in mind. Here we are providing 10 initializers here, and it is assigning those 10 elements to this array. In this case we are not assigning anything and it is assigning zeros. But what will happen if you provide less initializers in this array in the declaration? So if I write like this: int n equal to 10, and then I will write 1, 2, 3 and leave it. So it is going to declare an array where first three elements are 1, 2, 3, and all the elements are 0 after that, and its size will be 10. Clear? There is one more concept. If you have declared array like this int n and left its size and then provide 1, 2, 3 and 4 in the initializer list, so compiler is going to make an array of size 4. So it will be like this: 1, 2, 3 and 4. Clear? There is one more thing I am providing you as a question. Just pause the video and think your answer, and then you can match it with mine. So I am creating an array of size 5, but in the initializer list I am providing 6 elements. So can you tell me what will happen in this case? Just think it and guess the answer. So if you have said that this is going to give us an compiler error, you are perfectly right, because it can only take 5 elements and we are assigning 6th element in this. So this is going to give us compiler error. Clear? So one thing that is very important here is that number of initializers should always be less than or equal to array size. So if it is less, that is fine, others will be 0. If it is equal, that is also fine, but it should not be greater than that, right? And this is the case when both the things are mentioned, like size of the array and initializers. Clear? Okay, now try to see everything in action and execute the program. So let's create a main function. Everything we are writing here is a C style array. So make it int n, and then we have a size of 10. Now I'm assigning 10 element to it. For printing this array, you have to use a for loop, which could be like this: for int I equal to 0, I should be less than 10 and I plus plus, and then you have to write C out here and keep accessing each element using ni, and then you can provide some space here. When this loop ends, you can provide endl at the end, right? Now let's run this program. Compile this arrays.cpp. Program is compiled successfully. If you want to see the program, you can use cat command. Now see output, and here you go: 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. Clear? Keep editing this array and keep looking its output. So now I am trying to see all the elements, and in this case it should be 0, right? We have compiled it and now I'm running it, and it's all zeros. Okay, just try to change it and just assign only 3 elements here. Now all the other 7 elements should be 0. Clear? Run the program again, and here you can see we have 3 elements, 1 2 3, and then others are 0. Clear? Now omit the size here and provide 3 elements. So you have created an array with 3 elements, but now you are trying to access the array with 10 indexes. So let's see the output here, and it is compiled successfully. And now you can see we have 3 elements that we have assigned, but other elements are some garbage values, right? So this is very important thing. There is no bound checking in C++ or C. That's why array is not stopping you to access the elements outside the array. Clear? So this is one of the reason why C and C++ are very quick in execution, but you have to keep this thing in mind and limit the access of array to its boundaries, because if you are trying to access array outside its boundaries, sometime it might access someone else's memory, and that could cause problems, right? So we'll understand these things in very detail in coming lectures, but as of now you should understand that there is no bound checking, and that's why C++ is able to access elements outside of it. If you try to do this thing in Java, this will give an error. Okay, now comment this thing out and try to access an array of 5 size with 6 element, and we have 6 elements. So just try to remove this thing and just check whether this statement executes successfully or gives some error. So while compiling this program, it is saying that access element in the array initializer, and that thing we have discussed, that when size is 5 you can't allocate 6 element to it. Clear? So you have to remove this thing. Okay, and now you can uncomment this and program will execute successfully. If you want to run this statement successfully, you have to remove 6 from here. Okay, so there should not be any sixth element. So I think this discussion is enough for this lecture. In the next lecture we are going to discuss how arrays can be passed to functions and how that can be implemented. So if you have any doubt till now, you can write in the comment and I will try to respond back. So see you in the next video with some new concept. Till then, thank you so much.